There's no doubt that Henry Cavill has a massive fan base. And by massive, I mean massive. And though y'all claim to be die-hard supporters of the Brit, there are certain details that I bet you had no idea of, like the fact that he wasn't always this buff. When you look at the guy, you can't help but think that he was made for the role of the Kryptonian. Now, that's a different case that we won't see him don the red cape, but there was no doubt that his portrayal was spot on. I still can't get over the fact that Gunn fired him. Like, how could you hire him back, give hope to millions of fans, only to deprive them of that hope? And to think he's the new CEO of DC. Anyways, what I was trying to say was that Cavill wasn't always like this. The perfect chiseled jaw with that alien-like physique, it was quite the opposite actually. The actor told Men's Health that he was a pretty chubby kid. Oh, and his classmates didn't make this easier. They gave him the nickname of Fat Cavill. Hard to imagine anyone calling Henry Cavill this, but well, according to him, it was an accurate name. Oh, and his dad used to think so too. At the Graham Norton show, Cavill said that according to his dad, he stayed the same weight from the age of 13 up till 25. He just only got taller. So what's the secret? Well, according to the former Superman, it was all because of rugby. Yep, I bet you didn't know that as well. Oh, and for all the American viewers, rugby isn't American football. It's completely different, okay? Speaking of Cavill's childhood, did you know he grew up with 4 brothers? I guess that's a bit different from the whole son of Krypton origin. But then again, I just told you that Henry wasn't always the Man of Steel we all know and love. Cavill grew up on the island of Jersey in the Channel Islands. If you have brothers of your own, you probably know how chaotic things can get. Now imagine having 4 of them and you're the youngest. Okay, second youngest, but it's more or less the same thing. Oh, and Cavill's household was just what you imagined. In an interview, he said that they played rough, and it was like living on the edge of survival.
You grew up with these 4 brothers.
Yes.
And you think, oh, 4 brothers, bit of rough and tumble. Your house sounds more than that. It was intense.
We were living on the edge of survival most of the time.
I guess it's good that Cavill wasn't in shape those days, because things could have gone pretty south quickly. Like, imagine not getting your brother a glass of water, and the next thing you see is Henry doing that fist-pumping thing from Mission Impossible. Brothers in a nutshell. Oh, and if you think I'm exaggerating this, then boy, are you wrong. Cavill revealed that his dad once returned and was surprised to see that the wallpaper had changed.
My dad came home from work once upon a time, and he realized that the wallpaper had changed, and this pissed him off a little bit.
When he asked about this new addition, Henry's mom responded that changing the wallpaper was easier than getting rid of the blood stains.
So he was like, hold on a second, why are you changing the wallpaper? Without any kind of discussion about it. And so he went to my mum and said, why'd we change the wallpaper? And she quite simply just said, it's easier to clean the blood off this wallpaper.
Yup, it was that serious. The Cavill boys did have one rule though: no punches on the face. Guess that proved pretty handy in Henry's acting career. Otherwise, he wouldn't have landed all those roles.
It was a lot of rough and tumble. Never any punching in the face. That was the rule. No face punches.
Speaking of roles, here are some roles that Henry Cavill missed out on. Yeah, I know it seems pretty hard to believe that someone might reject Cavill, but well, the world is a mysterious thing that works in mysterious ways. Let's start with a pretty well-known franchise, Harry Potter. Nope, that is no typo, and no, he wasn't auditioning for Victor Crumb. He fits that description, right? Heartthrob, tough, great at sports, but well, the character he auditioned for was from the same installment. For the Goblet of Fire, Cavill auditioned for the role of Cedric Diggory, the first on-screen murder in the Harry Potter films. That is, if you don't count the death of Ginny's character arc. The role went to Robert Pattinson. That's 1-0 to Batman. Oh, and this wasn't the only role that Pattinson took from Superman. According to the author of the Twilight books, Henry was the perfect Edward in her eyes, and she was pretty determined to get him on board. Cavill, however, revealed that he didn't get any script or offer. According to him, this was because the author must have seen his previous acting work, and by the time the role was being cast, time had done its ravages.
Because wasn't Twilight written for you?
I think the writer of the books, when the movie came around,
I think I was her first choice. I think. That's the rumour I heard. And she wanted me to play the role, but it wasn't up to her. And instead, a very talented actor played it instead.
Don't attack me, okay? Those are Cavill's own words. But I think it was good that Henry didn't get that role, because I honestly cannot imagine him in the part of Edward. I think we all know what other role he missed out on because, well, it seemed to hit him the most, and he's talked about it the most too. Yep, the role of 007. Though he wasn't always an actor, Henry's jobs before his stardom. This isn't something unique and surprising. All actors have to face difficult jobs before they finally get their big break, and this was the case for the Man of Steel. He took on many jobs when he moved to Hollywood in 2005. He started off as a restaurant host, then as a dog walker. Yeah, I think he would be pretty good at it, given how close he is to his own dog, Cavill. Oh, and apparently that was the case. The journalist for Yahoo, Gianna Mucci, recalled that Cavill used to walk her dog Buddy, and the two had a very strong bond. She also said that she had nicknamed Cavill Hot Henry, a huge upgrade from Fat Cavill, in my humble opinion. But she had no idea how close the actor was to stardom, because once she tried to contact him but couldn't. Turns out Henry was out of the country auditioning for none other than Casino Royale. Though it looks like he wasn't this talented in making cocktails. The Brit used to work in a cocktail bar near Trafalgar Square. He admitted it himself. According to him, he could get the job done, but, well, that was it, because most of the time, he had no idea which ingredients went with what. Maybe if he had known that there was only one good drink, a martini, which was swirled, not stirred, he could have snatched up James Bond.
Your drink, sir.
Lucky I asked for a change.
Though he might not know about drinks and cocktails, he does know a lot about another field. Cavill is a huge nerd when it comes to video games. How else do you think The Witcher was so accurate to the source material? Do you think a company like Netflix could have done that? Henry's very serious about gaming, and that just makes me love him even more. Oh, and he isn't shy about showing himself as a nerd. During the COVID quarantine era, Cavill entertained his fans by showing off his gaming setups, or even making gaming PCs and posting them on Instagram. Boy, did that cause a storm. His gaming addiction's so strong that he almost lost the role of Superman. Apparently, when Zack Snyder called Cavill to give him the good news, he was busy playing World of Warcraft and missed the call.
You nearly lost quite an important job.
Absolutely, yeah. I was playing a game called World of Warcraft. I missed the call from Zack Snyder to tell me I got Superman.
But, did you hear the phone ringing?
I did.
And you chose to ignore it?
Absolutely.
Luckily, he called him back, and we got to see The Man of Steel, which is arguably the best Superman adaptation out there. Anyways, now Henry will be producing and starring in the adaptation of Warhammer. It's a strategy game, and Cavill is a massive nerd when it comes to it. That's enough to know how amazing the project will be, and will finally give Cavill that creative nerd freedom to do whatever he wants. I just can't wait for it to finally come out. That's all from me on the details you probably didn't know about Henry Cavill. See you at the next one.